Sorry I broke your podcast.
First things first, just because we were talking about it before, we have talked a lot about a movie that is equated to have made about $200 million. And Eric couldn't get through much of it at all. Why could you not get through the Christmas Chronicles?
It was terrible.
I
don't know.
Why was it terrible?
A lot of cliches about teenagers. And
well, yes.
I don't know. I found the way that it was filmed, the storytelling was like just making the audience, it seemed like they were trying to just assume that the audience is mentally challenged enough that they could not put anything together whatsoever themselves.
Is that the Netflix model, I believe?
Yeah. I think it's absolute garbage, despite whatever rating it has on Netflix.
But you didn't even get to the selling point of the movie.
If I didn't get far enough into it, then I guess that's not my problem.
Did it have the King Kong factor? They didn't show up for way too late. You wanted Kurt Russell right from the start.
King Kong. No, I can deal with suspense.
I know, but it's like, hey, Kurt Russell, Santa Claus. It's not paced in a way, I thought, like, I mean, it's not cinematic gold, but for a modern Christmas movie that is honestly pitched as Kurt Russell is Santa Claus. Tila and I were talking about how that's how most Christmas movies are pitched. Whoopi Goldberg as Santa. Oh, perfect. Call me Claus. Tim Allen as Santa. The Santa Claus. Kurt Russell as Santa. Sold.
Well, I didn't get to that, but...
Is that a marketing problem or is that a movie problem?
You can't just start off with the whole story like, oh, guess what? Your dad's dead.
Yeah,
okay.
They are very blunt about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But you said...
But they wouldn't say it because that's the movie thing to do is you just try to show that in the most obvious way possible, but nobody's going to blunt... If a teenager's being all edgy, they're going to be like, yeah, well, dad's dead, so he's not here. I
never once said that when I was younger. I never once used that against anybody.
I can't see you being a really angsty teen, though.
I wasn't.
No. So, yeah.
So, I guess there's that. No, in the movie, they are kind of cliche. They could have made the teenager just a bad kid, because that's the whole thing. Santa, he's on the naughty list.
When they steal the car, but they just go up to the car and open the door and turn the key when they get in. What?
They steal a car? No.
With the key in the ignition?
A teenager... supposed to be a bad kid, steals a car.
Yeah, either the key was in there or they hotwired the thing in about 5 seconds because it didn't make any sense the way I saw it.
So
it was just strange the whole way around. And why was the kid was just staring at the store that the brother happened to come around? It's strange.
You should just watch the movie.
I'm gonna have to watch it now, I guess.
It's so terrible.
And then, of course, the other movie that I say is worth the watch if you know Niagara-on-the-Lake is The Holiday Calendar.
I'm more interested in that just to see the cameras.
Where do we find that movie? Is that
Netflix?
That is Netflix? Okay.
They shot in Niagara-on-the-Lake. They shot this year. Huh. There's no set decoration. When you see the Niagara-on-the-Lake in the movie, you're like, that is 100% Niagara-on-the-Lake. Except for the fact that because it was shot when we didn't have any snow, they're like, let's make it look Christmassy. So they put a bunch of Christmas trees on the sidewalk, places that no town
That's
would
not normal.
Place Christmas trees. We're going to place one Christmas tree every 7 feet.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Now,
did they say it was Niagara-on-the-Lake, or was it not ever mentioned?
It's not mentioned where they are, but from my perspective, because I know Niagara-on-the-Lake, there's no hiding it. When you show, there's 2 drone shots in the movie, and they reuse them 6 times. And it's all of the main drag in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Hey, that's the clock tower. That's the famous Niagara-on-the-Lake clock tower. So it might as well be Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Was it relevant to the story where they were?
No. It's just funny because we know it so well. And then when I went there last week, I am in a movie because they didn't pretend. It's just 100% Niagara.
Why did you go there last week?
Anniversary. Went to go see Christmas Carol.
Nice. Sounds like a fun night.
Now, in the movie, I had a frog in my throat. In the movie, this travel photographer, okay, he's a blog writer, I travel blog
Is this the
writer.
Bridges of Madison County update?
He decides to gift his longtime crush her own studio. So
Sure.
he's like, let's go warm up. Unlocks the door. She's like, we can't break in. It's like, it's not breaking in if it's your studio. Well, it's our studio. She's like, you leased it? Like, I bought the whole building. Do you know how expensive Niagara-on-the-Lake real estate is? I'm sorry, not too many travel photographers are buying the Niagara-on-the-Lake real estate.
He is really good. I guess.
And just pointless information that doesn't matter to you. I did some math. This is episode 43.
Okay.
Okay? But that's not counted in this. Out of the 42 other episodes, our average one was 82 minutes. So that's not bad.
Mm.
Our lowest was 20. And we were both kind of drunk and done from that beach party.
Yeah, in the middle of the summer.
Our highest was 165 with
Wow.
the escort. For a grand total of 3,458 minutes.
a lot of
Or
minutes.
57 hours of
Wow.
content.
It's a lot of time with me and you together, and occasionally a third person.
Yeah. So Luke, whenever I talk to him, he's always like a time capsule. This is Luke, everybody.
Hello.
Really introduce him.
No.
That camera is pointing directly at you, so that's your
That one's all
A
three of us.
camera.
B camera.
Luke is a time capsule
How can a person be a time capsule?
because he has he's lived in pop culture. He's worked at Blockbuster.
Yes.
There's not too many
Okay.
people I know that has worked at Blockbuster.
We're dying off at a rapid rate, yes.
Pardon me?
We're dying off at a rapid
How
rate.
different is it to have experienced Blockbuster as an employee as opposed to just a customer?
Well, you can't be a customer anymore. That's what.
No,
Well, yeah.
I was a customer,
Yeah.
so I mean, I get
No,
what the
yeah.
store feels like.
The perks were the best. At the time, when people didn't ingest media quite so rapidly, we got 10 rentals a week,
That's pretty good.
right? People can now watch, 10 movies per evening with their Netflix binging, but that was a big deal back at the time. So, yeah, that's fun.
Did that carry over to like video game rentals too?
Oh, it
kind of
did,
discount?
yes.
Yeah. That would actually be a pretty good perk as
Yeah.
a teenager.
Except 10 video games a week, you wouldn't have enough time to play all
No,
10.
no, not a chance.
So,
Yeah.
well, that's good.
Kinda neat.
Um,
My last memory of being in a Blockbuster was in high school, and I just remember some friend getting denied to buy a game because he was not mature. So that was about it.
I have never and will never be part of the client base that went to a Blockbuster. We didn't have a Blockbuster in my town.
You've never rented a film from a Blockbuster?
No, I always did from Rogers Video.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I moved to Niagara, a family video once or twice, but that's about it. By the time I got here, or by the time I was even old enough to actually enjoy movies, Blockbuster was kind of faded. He kind of bit the bullet with the way of the movie rental store. So, no, I find it interesting because we talk about movies a lot, and a lot of the times it's always about Netflix, and Netflix killed his job. Except he left.
Wow, no, I was gone before that. Yes. Damn you, Netflix.
When it came to movie rentals, I'd say the consumption rate growing up for me was like maybe just on weekends, pretty much, and you maybe get 2 movies a weekend,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
There used to be like a Friday ritual. We'd go for dinner and then go to the video store. And my parents would rent a movie, and then me and my sister would rent a movie or two. That was
And
just
then
the
when
thing.
you worked there,
And you would have that movie for like the weekend, and you would watch it a bunch of times. Like that used to be a thing. Now it's kind of like a one and done scenario. Like I watched all the new things on Netflix, so now it's
The collectability
I'm caught
kind of
up.
goes out the window when you lose the physical copy
Mhm.
of it. Plus, I don't know, it loses nostalgia too. Like you could compare maybe even just a vinyl record, what that looks like, and then what that product's like compared to like a plasticky CD case.
Mhm.
One feels like it has maybe more collectability than the other.
yeah. I enjoyed my VHS collection more than
DVDs.
DVDs. Like
Yeah.
I
He
made
has a
that
huge
Yeah,
collection.
I made that switch. I have tons of DVDs, but yeah, tapes. That was when I started collecting, and yeah, it had more of a feel to it. And they had better like box sets were a big deal at the time. They took up half a bookshelf, but they're pretty amazing. So
I think one of the hardest things with digital is the fact that, I mean, it's a common complaint, but you don't own anything. So if you said, oh, I want to watch something years ago, be like, oh, I have it. That's great. I'm going to go on my shelf and get it.
Yeah.
Now, Netflix really doesn't advertise unless it's a huge thing, like them paying $100 million for another year of Friends.
What?
Yeah, they just announced that. So they re-licensed Friends on Netflix
Okay.
for another year for $100 million.
So we're talking like the library, like the Friends. No, they're not bringing back Friends. That's
No.
not a thing. Okay,
I'm
sorry.
talking about the Friends library. If they were bringing back Friends, that'd be more than $100
like
million.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. So they spent, I think there's 10 seasons, so that's $10 million per season for a year. That's insane.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of people watching it. They're kind of banking on people coming to Netflix to watch that. Then I'm sure like new subscribers, but
But they're not
Isn't there-
advertising it as much anymore.
No,
They're
and-
advertising their new content.
and isn't there a limit of people that are just sick of watching Friends after they've come originally to watch it to Netflix?
In all honesty, I haven't watched the entire series all the way through. I know Tila has. Tila's a hardcore friend aficionado, friends lover.
Or friendly.
Yeah, sure, that works. But I haven't watched it all the way through. I've watched most of Seinfeld. Haven't watched it all the way through, but it's not on Netflix.
Yeah, I
It
wish
doesn't do me any
I
good.
wish Seinfeld was on Netflix because I actually probably would go through that.
But aside from the Friends thing, you never know what you have. I went to watch the Jim Carrey Grinch, which you hate, and
do?
Ooh, we should talk about that.
I don't have it. So I thought, it's always on Netflix. Nope. It's not there. And, you know, it's definitely not on Amazon Prime Video because their content is questionable at best.
I suppose
And then-
any
corner store or gas station.
Nice catch.
You can pick it up.
Well, yeah, if I went to Walmart, I know I can get it, and I suppose I should because it's not expensive.
No.
But I watched a video today because Universal Studios does their Grinchmas, like their theme park yearly. I guess they really bank off of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So they every year they do their Grinchmas celebration, and I watched a video where the guy playing the Grinch, decked out in full Grinch makeup, like looked and sounded like Jim Carrey, was really into character. The person making the video gave him a gift, and it was a red onion. Is it not working?
Nope.
Oh, I could smash it again.
Oh, lovely. Cut to when it is working.
Sorry, I broke your podcast. I was at the Comic-Con this year. There was a Jim Carrey Grinch cosplayer. That's the only character he wanted to do. He just walked the floor. He had a garbage can and everything. He was like sweeping shit up. I don't
Actually,
know
was
why.
popular.
I guess, but he was very in your face about it. He's like, "Guess what? I'm being the Grinch right now." And you're like, "I don't want that." But
What's the biggest flaw of the movie, you think?
I'm surprised because we both
After-
watched. I watched the animated one that just came out. He did, and granted, he has a child, so he was.
I took
I'm
her to the
assuming
movie.
you
Yeah.
were forced to go. Would
No,
you
I
have
think that was
went?
my idea.
So,
Yeah, I like the movies.
but he liked it, and I didn't.
And you like Jim Carrey one? And
I like the Jim
do not.
Carrey one.
We can also call it the Ron Howard one. I don't think Jim Carrey's at fault. Like, I think he did fine, but
I like Jim Carrey's
I just thought it was a
performance.
very abrasive movie. It's very jarring. I don't like the makeup on the people. That bothers me throughout the whole runtime. The Who's. I don't
Yeah,
like their
it didn't look
faces.
particularly good. See, I watched it as a kid, so I didn't really care.
He was 18 years old.
That's pretty
Pretty
crazy.
old.
Yeah, it's very gaudy, like all the lights and stuff. But it's supposed to be, I guess. I don't know. It's just not as heartwarming, I feel, as other versions.
That's true, because every time there's supposed to be a moment in the actual story, in the Jim Carrey one, they do play it up for laughs. Like when his heart does grow, he ends up basically having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like he falls to the ground, and you just hear that. So it's not a sweet moment.
Did they play up the disgustingness of the baby Grinch as much in the animated version?
No, there's one
Very
scene.
brief. Yeah, he's just crying in an adopt, like in an
Crying in the
orphanage.
orphanage.
That's about it.
Nobody wants to play with me.
In the Jim Carrey one, it was quite apparent that they were just saying this is
Yeah,
an
that was like a
ugly
20-minute
baby.
backstory in the Jim
Was
Carrey
that
one.
like? I think that was made up for that though. Like,
Yeah,
there
there's-
was no Grinch backstory before.
No.
It was just he happened to be a dick who lived on a mountain in
Yeah,
the book.
he just
and that's
hated
it.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Please don't ask why.
Yeah.
No one quite knows the reason.
Why is he green and everyone else is not? That's it.
Well, in the Ron Howard movie, he came
Was
the
he-
way all the Who's come in those umbrella things.
Which is also made up, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But then they make that weird joke where one of the babies lands on the doorstep, the guy's leaving the milk, and he's like, "Hey, honey, our baby's here.
Right.
He looks kind of like your boss." I'm like,
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I get it. Kids wouldn't get that, so that's funny, and it is funny now because it's jarring when you're in a kids movie and you're like that, when you hear that. So, but no, I guess technically based on that, it wouldn't really make sense. I don't know how a couple of Who's can love each other and then the baby that mixes their Who genes comes floating down from the sky.
It's a lot of flaws with that reproductive cycle.
And then the Grinch doesn't have parents, but he still gets an umbrella.
The new one, apparently, the kid was born by immaculate conception because there is no dad that they mention at all for
true.
no apparent reason.
Yeah, Cindy Lou is kind of like Lucy from Peanuts. Like she's a butchy Cindy Lou.
Really?
She is.
Yeah.
She's I guess butchy isn't fair. She's a tomboy. She likes hockey. She likes all that. Making sure Luke's microphone isn't messed up again.
No.
I
Casually.
could break something else.
Just double checking. That's all.
And then the Grinch in this movie, or in the new animated movie, isn't mean. He's just kind of lonely.
Yeah, they changed that tack quite a bit.
It's a bit sadder.
Yeah.
And then there's a weird moment in the movie where it almost seems like Cindy Lou is going to try to get the Grinch and her mom together, and then she doesn't.
Oh.
And it's a good thing she doesn't, because that's weird.
But yeah, that'd be nice.
But then the Grinch, I guess, spoiler alert, but whatever, he saves Christmas. And he gets invited over to Cindy Lou's house. So I feel like there could be a Grinch 2 where they get married. I don't know. Maybe there's
It's probably
one-
not a good idea.
They shouldn't push that line, I don't think.
Then the Grinch becomes Cindy Lou's stepfather.
I suppose.
How the Grinch adopted Cindy Lou. I don't know.
No one wants to watch that.
What do you think? Obviously, it made money, and
You can't really go anywhere from there.
why not? There was originally a Grinch Meets the Cat in the Hat, so they could do that. See, now that's me telling the
What
truth.
the hell? What was, that was animated?
That was animated. That came out
I remember
after the original Grinch, because the original Grinch cartoon was followed by a Halloween, like a Grinchy Halloween or something like that. And then they did a Grinch versus the Cat in the Hat, or Grinch Meets the Cat in the Hat. But they did.
What a strange
It's not a
idea.
lie, like your Scooby-Doo and Gilligan's Island.
That should have been a thing.
Like,
That'd be cool.
yeah, I know. Like 2 months into knowing him, at one point we're talking about, because Gilligan's Island had an animated spin-off. Yeah, it had a few. One where they're stuck on the island, and one where they go to space. Can't fix a boat, but they can make a spaceship.
And are they stuck in space?
They're stuck on a planet, so it's called Gilligan's Planet.
Oh.
And then he's like, "Oh, well, they did a crossover with Scooby-Doo." I'm like, "I never knew this. It sounds amazing."
How do you MacGyver things on another planet?
I have no idea. I've only watched a few episodes because it's like 10 times. It's 1/10 the budget of the Flintstones, so it looks like crap. At least it's all the original cast for the most part. So
I had convinced myself that was a real thing too.
because there's one picture of the Scooby Gang running with the Gilligan's Island Gang, and I'm like, "Oh, it's real." I searched. He built my hope up in 5 minutes and destroyed it with just one Google search. Didn't exist.
Yeah.
I was.
It's Google's fault. You'd still believe me and just never could find a copy.
It's true. Searching all over Amazon. Scooby-Doo, Gilligan's Island. Gilligan meets Scooby-Doo. Surprised it didn't happen. There was a lot of crossovers in animation. Still is, but
Yeah, Scooby-Doo has everyone.
it's true.
What was the most recent one? Like Wild Wrestlers and stuff.
That was the Flintstones.
Oh,
Flintstones
that's
did
right.
a WWE
John Cena,
SmackDown
yeah.
with the Flintstones.
That's right.
Where Barney joins the Rocky Wrestling Confederation or something.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't good.
Doesn't sound good.
No. And then Scooby-Doo is back. They have a new show. They had Kiss.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a recent one.
Is that recent?
Relatively.
I don't know. I've seen so many different iterations of Scooby-Doo growing up that like they get different voice actors for each different cartoon.
And there's that weird
Strange.
Velma and Daphne
Oh
prequel
yeah.
movie that
Did
came
that happen
out this
yet?
year.
Does it already come
Where
out?
nobody else exists.
Hmm.
Like, but they all, in the original story, they all went to the same high school.
Yeah, that fucks up the backstory.
So I guess Velma and Daphne hadn't met them, but then Velma and Daphne become friends, and then solve a mystery without anybody else.
Hmm.
So I don't know how it went. It didn't look good.
I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I wouldn't
No,
want
I
to watch
wouldn't
that. Even
waste
in
my
theory.
time on that. Now, if you gave me a Shaggy and Scooby,
It seems more reasonable as a spin-off.
seems more marketable.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was called. I don't know what it was
I
called.
forget. It looked pretty bad.
But it was called like Velma and I don't know. I don't want a Fred spin-off movie.
You know? The origin of his ascot?
Velma and Daphne costumes, yeah.
What?
What? Just in time for Christmas. Yeah. Which is disturbingly soon.
Oh, it's boring. It's called Daphne and Velma. That's, that's not
That's very creative. Yeah.
exciting at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no giant
Is that
dog.
the same actress that's been in like all the other Scooby-Doo
No.
movies? No.
No.
They could not get Linda Cardellini.
Is she not like 40 something now?
Yeah,
Probably.
and they definitely couldn't get Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No.
Well, they could probably, but they can't play high school students. And Linda's too busy being dead in the Avengers.
Yeah.
She's Hawkeye's wife.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Hawkeye's coming back, guys. Just so you know.
I walked in on his version watching of the Avengers trailer.
Every time there's an Avengers trailer or a lot of Marvel stuff.
I feel like you get lost sometimes.
Not really. I just don't watch all of it, so I gotta fill in the pieces. But I walk into like a Walmart or somewhere where there's people, and I just hear people just gushing over a trailer. It never makes sense to me. Like, I just watched the one for the Avengers 4, and I guess the big thing is Ant-Man's alive. Great. That's good. That seemed like it was a reasonable possibility.
Well, yes,
I think that
once
was very clear at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it was.
But everybody's freaking out about it. Like, oh, the new trailer's so great. It's like, what was great about it?
So I didn't see.
What specifically?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp, although I'm going to.
It's good.
I know, based at least on this movie and the reading that I've done, that the end he goes into the
Molecular thing.
Quantum realm.
Quantum
The
realm.
quantum
That's
realm.
what it is.
and once he's in the realm, the people who helped him in the realm fade away. So that was
Sorry,
Thanos' snap.
yes, that's the spoiler. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the quantum realm is
Was-
not in this world and isn't
It's either
accountable.
safe from being snapped, or he was one of the half that wasn't going to be gone anyway. We don't know.
It's true.
The problem was that he was like stuck.
Yeah, well, we don't know how
I
he got
wonder
out
if
of
they'll
there.
show
So we got to figure out how he gets out. That's
like-
about the only missing
Hopefully
link.
they don't cheap out and he just shows up on the door and be like, "Hey, I'm alive!
Yeah.
How'd you get out?"
It was crazy.
Don't want to know.
But we knew that he was alive at the very least because he was trying to talk to people that had already disappeared.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you shouldn't be that shocked.
not
really.
hugely
Yeah.
shocked when I saw him.
I was shocked and happy about how little they showed. And I realized
Well, this is the teaser.
it was a pretty complete
I
trailer.
don't know. This probably isn't technically the full trailer.
Well,
No,
I
I-
know that, but it was still like a teaser trailer is normally 30 seconds long. This one was about 90, tells the story.
True.
This plan is going to work, Cat. I know it is. Why? Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't. It's a good line. But
So.
it's one of those things that movies do, and they over advertise, and that becomes a problem. If they left it, they already know what they're going to make with this movie.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like they know that it's guaranteed
At least
they're going to
whatever.
make like $1.5 billion on this movie.
Yep.
I can't conceive of how it couldn't.
No. And they're even thinking it could very easily pass the $200 or $2 billion mark. Easy. I think it's possible.
Okay.
So why spoil it?
Why keep giving
It'd be
more?
really
Yeah,
ballsy
you
if
have
they
to
just
build it up
left
even more.
that trailer, and that's that.
That's enough.
I'm gonna go see it regardless.
See, exactly.
Yeah, they didn't even need this trailer.
That's
Who
true.
were
They
playing?
didn't need to release the trailer.
Who wasn't gonna go?
I
Well-
admit I was a little bit upset. Maybe they did it for emotional purposes, but it would have been nice if they pulled it Back to the Future 2 and had the trailer for the fourth Avengers right after Avengers 3 to hype you. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. But you're just dealing with
Which
all
one did that? They had one of the solo movies at the end was the Avengers trailer. Would it have been Captain America? Maybe.
Was Captain America the last one before the Avengers?
I think they wanted. Yeah, I think that was what set up the final team member.
Well, I guess that's true because
I should know this.
Samuel L. Jackson comes and like, I need your help at the end. Well, he does that a lot, actually.
That's his thing. Yeah,
Captain Marvel.
I like that trailer more. I like more.
The second
The
trailer
second one.
made it look a lot better.
Yeah.
And it has your home base, your Blockbuster.
Yeah. Nostalgia.
No, I guess that's a case where the first trailer didn't look as good, but the second one was better. So maybe on that mentality, the second trailer for the Avengers is going to be amazing if we thought that this one was good.
I hope so.
Should be.
I don't know if they.
What did they? They didn't show a lot of like action set pieces and.
What if it's not? What if it's a,
It's just a drama.
it's just a drama? It's just everybody's dead for half a movie, and they're like, oh, we can travel through time, and they go back and they just kill baby Thanos.
They're just reusing footage from all the other movies.
Yeah,
Sure. No, we spent our budget. That's it. Sorry, guys.
could be interesting. And then we have Once Upon a Deadpool, which is 100% confirmed to be just a PG-13 re-release of Deadpool 2.
Mm-hmm. It's probably the quickest re-release I've
I
ever seen.
almost want to watch it side by side with the
Well,
regular one.
it won't follow the same beats because they cut out like the first 20 minutes and
Yeah.
add in the Fred Savage stuff. But apparently every ticket, $1 goes towards a charity. So they're not just taking the money
Yeah.
for themselves.
Well, I didn't realize this, but so it's a China thing, apparently. So the Deadpool, if I understand correctly, Deadpool 2 wasn't released there or it wasn't big there because they're not big on the graphic and R-rated
And by
stuff.
that note, Deadpool 1 wouldn't have done well there.
Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I didn't look into that. But, so they can repackage this and say, here, China, it's PG-13. And they're like, ooh, that sounds good, apparently. So this should have a big international take, apparently.
Maybe that's why it's only getting a limited release here, but it's getting
Yeah,
a
you'd have to
full
go,
release.
to Hamilton to watch it if you want to.
What a weird... If they did like the first Deadpool, imagine how weird it would be to go to a movie and see it open with Fred Savage. Like
Maybe he's big over there. I don't know.
maybe he's... Yeah, I read an article because Wreck-It Ralph... Is it Wreck-It Ralph 2 that did... The article had mentioned one movie was surpassing expectations in China, but a movie that just released flopped, and they don't understand. Crazy Rich Asians,
Did
which
not
has
do
been out
well.
here forever,
Yeah.
has failed horribly in China. Apparently, they don't like rich Asian stereotypes. That's the reasoning. And
It's
when
very bizarre because how can you even compare that to the reverse happening? Like, would there ever be a movie made in China about like rich white guys from the States and then it plays over here? They'd have the same reaction. Like, what the hell is this? Like, it's Chinese.
would we though? Because we kind
I
of
don't
have
know.
crazy rich white people.
I guess there is no equivalent though. Like that movie won't be made in China to ever be marketed to North America. That's not a thing. So it is very strange to make a movie about Asian culture
It is
in
based on
North
a book,
America
I know that much.
and then try to sell it over there. That's very strange.
It's definitely not authentic.
I feel like I'll have to watch it now because
Wouldn't it be like opening a Chinese food restaurant in China? Why would you do it?
I don't.
Irony, maybe.
I guess.
That'd be good.
Do you think it? Well, I guess on that note, Chinese
restaurants here try to sell us Canadian food.
True.
So if they marketed it as a Canadian restaurant in China, that would be the interesting thing. Eat authentic Canadian food, but serve the same things that we serve at a Chinese restaurant. Chicken balls, authentic Canadian food.
We invented that.
It's just like a paradox at that point.
That would be. That's an odd.
Start a chain of Canadian food restaurants, and everybody starts copying the idea, and then suddenly the Chinese food becomes Canadian food, which was originally in Canada but was Chinese, and it just this endless
Never
circle.
ending.
Chinese food's actually American, right? They just invented it there.
I don't know. I don't go to like I never think I'm gonna go to Chinese for wontons. It's always the Americanized or Canadianized version.
It's the style of eating. It's a buffet.
Which I'm assuming
Sometimes.
they don't do.
No.
Like they're also skinny. They don't eat at buffets every day.
But it's the buffet, and it is a lot of fried foods typically that I'd be going for. Some of the and if it's not a buffet, it's about the noodles, rice dishes, and that's typically what I would eat.
We could open up a Canadian stereotype restaurant and then market it in other countries.
Yeah, be kind of interesting.
Because there's no fast food restaurants or any type of outside of Tim Hortons. I feel like I wonder if Tim Hortons in America is marketed as this big thing from Canada, because I know that they've had issues with branding in the past.
Tim Hortons sucks in the States, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't see why Americans would enjoy it.
Why do we enjoy it?
It's not the same. If you go to ask them for a coffee down there or whatever, especially like an iced coffee, they'll just hand you a coffee with ice in it. Whereas here, it's this thing that we've all come to habituate. Like, they put some kind of syrup in it or something. I don't know.
They don't put it in. It is syrup in a cup.
Yeah, and even when we went to the States, like I went to a McDonald's and ordered coffee, and they asked me how like light I wanted it. Like they didn't ask how they didn't even have a system of numbering the amount of creams and sugars in
So
your
then
coffee.
how does that work?
You just tell them a
very light.
shade? I don't understand.
No, and it was the worst coffee I'd ever consumed in my life. Like,
I remember that.
yeah, an off-brand gas station would serve better coffee than whatever this McDonald's had.
How dark do you want it? Spanish.
Yeah,
That can get pretty off quickly.
Mexican.
racy.
African. That's black. That is full caffeine.
Probably really terrible coffee.
The McDonald's in the States are also kind of interesting because they do dollar drink days all year round,
Yep.
which is nice.
Wow.
I don't understand why they don't do it here. I think, actually,
Build up hype for the summer.
Melissa was talking about it. We don't know. They were doing dollar drink days all the time in Florida, where it's hot,
Yeah.
and a dollar drink is a draw. Maybe the colder states don't do it all year round, because I can see the benefit of having it all year round where it's hot. Like, I'm thirsty, it's hot, I'm going to go get a drink. But I would never really get in a car in the morning here. I guess I wouldn't get in a car in the morning here in the summer and think, well, it's 8 a.m., I need a Coke.
No, not really. Although I'm sure that is the lifestyle of many Americans.
It's true. So I guess it would work, but being cold, I don't know. That is a draw. Maybe.
Now you've got me thinking about traveling, so on an entirely different note. Have you done much traveling around the world?
Yeah, I've been to Europe a couple times.
Where in Europe?
Scotland, Belgium. I went to Paris because it was near Scotland when I was there. So, because everything's so close, so you can kind of jump around.
This was all like a short time.
I did
span
one.
or separate
I lived in Scotland for a couple months, like 2 months. Had a summer break there.
trips? Okay.
Were you backpacking? Or
No,
did you...
my parents lived there at the time.
Oh,
My dad had a job in Scotland, so I'm not sure how many years, I forget. And so one summer I went there. I worked at a golf course.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I worked at a golf course in Scotland.
And yeah, one of the locations that they sometimes did the British Open at,
Nice.
but not while I was there.
Probably a very well manicured course, I
Yes.
imagine.
What'd you
There's
do
two
with the golf course?
courses. Oh, I worked at the restaurant on the restaurant at the golf course, like right on there. So, yeah, I was just tending bar and serving light meals. That's a good job. Yeah, they had two courses there. One, the staff was allowed to play on. Yeah, I think you paid a reduced rate to play it. But the other one, like the championship course, you weren't allowed to play that.
Not if you
You'd have
paid
to,
full price.
Oh yeah, you'd have to pay
Okay.
like to do it, but
Fair
it's
enough.
too cheap and a poor golfer, so I did not do that.
Golf course prices, even now, can be expensive, but it's all relative. Like, we played a bunch of crappy golf courses this year, and then for our little golf tournament in the summer, that's the nicest course I've ever played on. Like, the hills were rolling, and it was
That's
a
nice
good
there, yeah.
course. I was
Short
told
course.
that I'm invited back. I don't understand how that works,
By
but
who?
by Jackie. It's just like, come back in the summer,
Jack is in charge of
I guess.
social things,
So it's BDs plus Jesse.
just like bowling.
Yeah,
You went bowling too with that?
Not yet.
I'm going to in
okay.
January.
Whoa.
And I don't think they're going to make me pay for myself. I don't know yet.
What's the bowling venue?
Fairview, right?
Fairview Mall?
Yes,
They got
that
a
one.
bowling
They
area?
do underneath. It's a good bowling alley.
I don't think that there's a single mall in the region other than the Penn Center that I've walked entirely through. The Fairview Mall, I
It doesn't
go
take
in
long.
for what I'm looking for and I walk back out. And
Yeah.
the Seaway Mall,
Oh.
I walk in, get depressed, and walk back out.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I used to go to the Fairview Mall all the time because Jessica worked at PetSmart. So that's where I...
See, I've never been there. I've been to Canada Computers and,
Okay.
and whatever's
I
over
went to
there.
Canada, that's where I got the hard drive.
The
So
Dollarama. Didn't know there was a PetSmart in there.
there's PetSmart on the other side of the mall. It's not in the mall.
Oh.
So, yeah. Bowling will be fun. I'm not a good bowler.
No one will be.
People don't want to bowl. What's the issue with bowling? Why do people not like it?
Who doesn't like it?
I don't know. No one can come up with an alternative. They just didn't want to do that.
We agreed that it might be a good idea that the men go to a board game cafe, and there's 3 of us, 4, and all the women go shopping with a very limited BD's budget. It was incredibly sexist,
Yes.
but it was a very good idea.
I don't know. I mean, the board game cafe isn't the most masculine thing in the world.
That's true, but I absolutely guarantee we should have just said it, because if they agreed to it, most of the people wouldn't have showed up.
That's true. I don't think attendance will be high, as is.
Luke is an avid board game player,
That's true.
but not my type of board game.
No, not. What do you mean not your type of board
I
game?
mean, I'm more of a casual person. Monopoly is
Oh.
my fun. But he's not a D&D person.
It's too far.
So he's somewhere in between.
I am, out of not necessarily choice, a pretty big board game person, just because Tila's big into board games, and now I am doing D&D. I like it. I just would never in a million years pick up a single board game on my own. It just happens to, if it happens to be something that's at a party or we're going to a board game cafe, sure, I can enjoy it. Although, I tend to only like the ones that are like critical thinking, or like you have to devise some kind of strategy to communicate something to someone else or whatever. I don't like the ones where it's like roll a dice. Okay, you move this far. Oh, that happened. Okay, wait until you get to your next turn.
No, I don't. I think I play a little more beyond that level, like
Yeah.
strategic games, typically.
I like Risk. That was probably one of my first introductions to a strategic type of board game. Although it's not quite as mind-numbing as Monopoly, but it's definitely a long game. to
It
play.
can be, yeah. And if you play poorly, you're out, and then you can just watch.
Which is not the worst thing in the world. I
Yeah.
did that on purpose a couple times.
Yeah.
When we were in Cuba, Tila came up with the idea to build a board game while we were in Cuba, which is what people do.
In an airport.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, she had wind of it before, but then we
Yeah.
got stuck at the airport. She's
Most-
like, I'm going to build a board game.
She drew it out in the airport, like made cards and...
Yep. And she made Eric and I play. And very quickly, I realized that building a board game isn't easy.
No.
Because we broke the system so quick, because she had a value system. It was a farming game. And we found out that if we didn't... I forget what it was. I think if we you could buy livestock and then sell the livestock. Like you buy a cow, you butcher the cow, but if you don't butcher the cow, you're making a lot more money over its lifetime because of the milk. And if the whole goal is growing your farm, it was a lot easier to just not kill anything and just keep selling the milk and the eggs.
It's a vegan. No, it's not vegan. It's a vegetarian farming game.
Yeah, so
That's how you win.
she did not continue it, actually.
I feel like I needed like a computer algorithm to run it through just to simulate the game and just see what the outcomes are. I don't have time to play through and try to break it.
No, actually, that's following Mugs and Meeples, and now there's what's the name of the other place?
I always forget. I haven't been there yet.
The one that hasn't paid us to do work for them yet?
Well, neither of them have.
It's a different story.
Sorry. The whatever the place is, apparently, this is interesting. This is Board Game Cafe gossip. Won't mention names,
Okay.
but I
Mr.
guess we kind of
X.
gave away the names of the Board Game Cafe, except for the one that I can't remember the name of. What is it? It's ology.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It means, the name actually means like to place.
It's actually very clever, but
Yeah, it was.
If only we knew what it was.
Mugs and Meeples had a murder mystery night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like those.
I don't like those either. And it was a Harry Potter themed murder mystery night. And they spent a lot of time talking to the person who was running it. She ran it, did fairly well. Apparently she had absolutely no interest in actually growing it. She's just running around from different venues in Niagara. So now she is doing it consistently with the Board Game Cafe on St. Paul Street, which I still can't remember the name of. So is as smart as the name was, you guys need to come up with an easier way for me to remember it, because somethingology, ludology.
Yeah.
Ludology.
Yes, that's
there we go. Okay, so I remembered it, but still, that's it. A double crossing murder mystery person at a Board Game Cafe and escape room that still doesn't have the escape room.
I almost want to look into that situation further and see if there's anything we do to, I don't know, help George.
There's so
do
many
that.
things that I want to do. Like we had tried to talk to the virtual reality place.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And they said yes, and then they said no, and then they said yes again, but we had to do it in a way that they were controlling how we shot it. So we wanted to do it a specific way, and their head office said, nah, it has to be more like a streaming type scenario. Like, well, we're not game streamers.
Yeah.
We want to film it in a way that we can experience it and show people how they experience it. And then that just kind of burnt through. But I never got to experience virtual reality.
No.
I haven't gone yet either. Is
You
there one
live
still
right
at the mall?
by there.
I did. Is there one at the mall still? Or they
They're always, those ones are the crappy
just the
ones.
Okay, I don't know.
The ones that we checked out, they're like $15 for
Yeah.
5 minutes of gameplay, and it's not very good.
No.
Uh,
The ones, the VR Quest or whatever had like the latest tech as far as, I think it was like an HTC Vive, and it's got a decent setup. So you should be able to play just about anything you could possibly want to play.
is it Lenovo that came out with a completely wireless and active headset? Like, you know, the Google Cardboard that you had to put your phone in?
Yeah.
Lenovo said, we'll let you keep your phone. So they put a screen in the actual headset, made it wireless, so it's its own computer. It's obviously only got the internals.
It's
of
basically just a phone.
It's basically
right?
the
Yeah, okay.
internals of a phone.
That's interesting because Lenovo stopped making phones like a
It might not be
long time
Lenovo.
ago.
I can't remember.
Lenovo is partnered with somebody else for their mobile division, but I find that kind of strange that they would be the ones to bring that product out. I can't think of who you might be thinking about necessarily.
I will find out for transparency's sake, but
I feel like you'd have a decent idea of Lenovo's product line as you work at like an office supply store,
you would
because
think
that's kind of their main clientele is just like business people or businesses buying bulk laptops.
I went to a trade show and I met with a Lenovo rep, and they do some really cool things.
Yeah.
Some really badass modular computers that we don't carry.
I like Lenovo. I like them more than when they were IBM. That was cool. They had some nice laptops. Great build quality. Now you're going to be looking for this thing.
The Lenovo Mirage. So it is.
Mirage. That's a good name for a VR product.
And it has two front-facing cameras in the eye part, so it can map out your actual, like it can map out a six-axis point of movement, so you're not just the left and right. It's forward and back and whatnot, and it's spatial. So unless you're doing it in the dark, can't do it in the dark.
Oh.
So that's neat.
Is it kind of? I feel like it's kind of faded away. Not away, but VR was a big push for a while, and now it's
because it was never.
coming back
It was.
down.
They didn't find a way to mass market it properly.
No,
Like
well,
PlayStation had
not even
their
that.
version, and it's gone. I
But
think.
exactly, they made it a gimmick because
Yeah.
it was the Xbox Connect and it was the PlayStation Move to begin with for like hands-on motion control stuff, and then they came out with whatever the PlayStation Morphus. I don't know something like that.
I don't know what it was called.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a headset, and they just because that was the next step up from there. But it works well enough, but it still seems like a gimmick.
It's probably they usually don't do enough content. Like they'll make something,
Yeah.
some cool hardware, and then it's like you can play these 3 games.
It would
and-
convince me alone if they made like a from the get-go, because they have the Elder Scrolls Skyrim VR edition and they have Fallout 4 VR. If they were VR from the like day one, because the game was actually built to function on that platform with HTC Vive or whatever, I'd probably buy in at that point in time.
But I don't think any big game manufacturer will say they would not be able to develop exclusively for VR.
Not exclusively for, just with the inbuilt capability to do so instead of like an afterthought. Because that changes the way that menus are designed in the game. It's the whole interface is different at that point, and that's some of the reason as to why the Skyrim and Fallout 4 are not the greatest to play. A lot of the native VR games are actually just a lot better for the way you control things and navigate through menus and that kind of stuff.
I'm just waiting. GTA.
Yeah,
Virtual
there you go.
reality.
Any of the big flagship titles just properly ported to VR would be enough for me to probably try it. Maybe buy into the system.
I was reading an article that the next Sims game may be virtual reality compatible.
That seems like going a bit far.
Yeah, but the latest patch for The Sims 4 gave you a first-person view, which is weird
Yes.
because now you're first-personing your sim.
Your virtual self.
Yes. I mean, at least
Doing
it was nice.
mundane
At least it was nice to hop around from character to character, but now I have to watch myself wash dishes.
Yep.
That seems weird.
That's another game I never delved into.
I
at
enjoy
any
it.
level.
I like it.
I couldn't be bothered to try it.
It's right in the realms. Yeah, I was big with Minecraft. I remember
Minecraft, pretty good.
a friend of mine put it on my computer and said, "Here," and I didn't know what to do. And I remember the first time I played Minecraft, I walked around. I didn't know what I could do, and I dug a hole, and then I didn't know how to get out of the hole, so I sat in the hole, and then it got dark.
Sounds fun.
Things probably jumped down the hole.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's when I realized there's no instructions.
No.
I'm gonna have to.
There is now, because there's all these wikis and
Yeah,
stuff.
there was, but I was playing back 2010.
Yeah.
It's weird to think that it's that old.
Minecraft's good at inspiring a weird kind of nostalgia for anybody who was playing during, like, at least the beta era of it. Just because, just the idea of having no instructions and you got to build these tools, but you got to just figure out where to arrange things in boxes to make a pickaxe or whatever it is. It was a very unique concept, anyways. And it's hard. Like now, it's obvious. It's even better, but they've simplified it a little bit too much, I think.
Games that have been out for way too long, that properties they're still trying to milk.
Ooh.
Did you ever go see the Angry Birds movie?
No. I did not watch it.
Will you be going to see the second Angry
There,
Birds
did that
movie?
do well enough that it needs a sequel? I guess so. Eh?
It did well enough that it needs a second one 4 years after the first one came out,
Wow.
which is odd because I now don't remember any of the first, and
Best time to revisit
It
I
has
guess.
definitely been a long time since I've played
Oh.
any Angry Birds property.
Is it still a game they're making more versions
I
of?
feel like you probably can't even download a free version of the game anymore. When it first came out, you could play most of it for
Oh, yeah.
free. There was
And
just ads.
And I did, and then I got bored. And
Yeah, that's all it was. Did you think when you were playing the game, this would make a really good movie?
I like, could we cross over with Star Wars or some such? And yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's very
And they
weird.
did do the movie license tie-ins on the app too.
Yeah.
So
It
you
was a
could
very bizarre property.
It is. And there was, it translated to board games. You could actually play Angry Birds the board game and build up a tower, and then somebody catapulted. I remember.
It just sounds like their merchandising team went nuts. That's
Well,
about it.
They had a hit on their hands, so
Yeah.
they packaged it and slapped it everywhere and sold it as much as they could. But I think they do that with everything.
Yeah. When I worked at Future Shop,
That's another thing.
defunct company,
Yeah. He has a
that-
history of working for companies that go
Yes.
under.
watch out.
Not
Hey,
good for
Ted.
babies.
Watch out.
Don't hire me.
Be weird if he
Yeah.
ever watches
I mean,
these.
Future Shop didn't really go under as much as it just is Best Buy now, kind of.
Yeah, they just decided not to carry two.
Of the
brands.
same store,
Yeah.
usually within like 2 kilometers
Oh,
of
yeah.
each other. Yeah.
It wasn't the best model.
No.
So yeah, when I was at Future Shop, the Angry Birds was in its heyday, I suppose. So we had all the merchandising, like stuffed animals of all the characters and stuff. People
All the
bought-
characters that
Well,
I mean, it's
the
not- I
can
red,
see
the
the
red
stuffed
one and
animals.
the
I can't
other
name
one.
any of them.
No,
No.
they have names? I guess.
I could see the stuffed animals. They're cute, and
Sure.
there's different ones you can collect, so you get the whole set. Kind of makes rough sense. A kid could appreciate them, I'm sure.
But plushy animals in a tech store
Oh yeah, it was very off-putting.
makes a ton of sense.
Turned into a toy store before the end. Like they sold RC cars and all kinds of.
Yeah, but that's
weird
still
things.
More like
technology.
this- Yeah.
true.
And
Yeah,
then
just
that was-
plush toys, not so much tech. Yeah, I guess.
Well, not really, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, Best Buy has a lot of nerdy stuff, like lots of plushies, things from video games and,
Yeah.
and movies and stuff. So I can see how it all ties in. Fans of tech are not necessarily just fans of tech. I like the showroom floor better. Future Shop. That's one thing I kind of miss. The way they used to show off all the laptops.
Yeah.
It was very plain and simple and kind of spacious.
I do not like the Best Buy store around that one here. It's
When's the last time you've been to the one?
walk through.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming just the way they design the aisles. Nothing's like just straight.
No.
And you can tell 100% where they like their sales to be because you walk in
Mobile.
and you're right at Apple.
Yeah, well, the mobile in general
Yeah.
just
It's
front and
right
center.
there.
Yep.
You have to walk past everything, and they keep throwing me off. And their system of keeping stuff on the shelves, but then not actually having it. So I've bought hard drives from there, and I go and I take the box to the person. I'm like, I need this hard drive. Well, we don't have it.
Great.
I mean, other places would just put a sign that says we're currently out of stock.
Weird sideline. I was at Walmart today, and they had a sign that said "We're out of stock," and it was on. I was looking at trailer hitches just because I was interested in which ones fit my truck, and
They
it said,
sold out of trailer
We
hitches?
are not in stock, and then there was a line of 10 of them.
Oh,
And yeah, stores are not good at that kind of stuff.
no.
No.
You know what the future of that should be? It's just a digital, like LED screen that has an inventory counter. That's it.
Never heard of that before.
I
Yeah.
pitched that.
Where?
Where do you think?
At B? Just
Yes.
2B? Okay. Yes. Inventory count as a number. Just a digital display
With
for
the
each of the
current
items.
pricing
Sure.
and
And
everything.
you can change it instantaneously. And you never have somebody like, hey, this is on, says it's on sale. Oh, well, it's not. Well, we have to honor the price. No, it's immediate. Just press a button. It's changed. It avoids losses in that perspective. It's just so much more
It's
straightforward.
got to be. I said my argument always was it's got to be too expensive to implement initially.
Can't be. No.
No. All right.
An LED screen? What? Probably.
For
They
every
stick in
product,
dollar
though?
store calculators.
I
You
guess it depends on the store for.
Sure. Well, if you're talking just like a handful of big ticket items, like a furniture store, they should have their display on. Here's a couch. Here's a living room set. Yes, the price. Can you pull it up on this tablet?
Yeah.
Don't go. I got to print out a piece of paper to stick on the couch.
No.
That's dumb. But like, how many like tickets are at BBs? Like
thousands.
Right.
The tricky part is that you can't address them all individually on a network. That's probably too many things to put on a
I
network.
went to a website. I found, because we talked about this every month. They spend so many. We weren't going to talk about retail stuff.
Nah, I like
but
this.
Every month they go through so many wasted hours of people putting out on sale tickets and pulling old ones, but they never do it right. You pulled ones from September last week.
That happens. Yeah.
So they get missed. But I was like, there has to be a better change.
If you can tie in every ticket on a rack into one network device, you pretty much how many individual racks are there in BDs? I'm talking about like let's just say you go to the printer aisle, the whole thing,
Sure.
the whole thing. And there can't be that many. There couldn't be more than a couple dozen,
Sure. Okay.
right? So you address each one of those. I guess I wish I knew a little bit more about networking, but each one of those is a device, and you can just program in whatever lines that correspond to the displays. It couldn't be that difficult to do.
Well, I found a company that does it.
And it would have to be wireless too.
They're a UK-based company. Each one comes with a battery that will last like 4 years.
Because it's an LED screen,
Yeah.
it doesn't use much power.
And I contacted them, went above my Call of Duty, but they wouldn't call me back because
Strange.
I told them I'm just price shopping
Oh.
because I just want to know how much it would be, and they had no interest in talking to somebody who was explicitly just price shopping. I can't imagine it would be cheap.
I could call them separately.
But I also can't imagine they would say, we're going to be in this business where people can just change them out with a piece of paper and then be the most expensive thing ever.
Sure.
I don't see it being all that expensive. I feel like I could do it. I feel like I could.
You feel like you could design it?
You can probably buy the displays in bulk, cheap, from China, whatever. That's probably dirt cheap. And what? Can I do it maybe with a Raspberry Pi, one of those little computers, like
have
Arduino
no
boards?
idea.
And
That's
one of
not
those
my-
at each end of the aisle. Each one's a network device. I feel like I could do it.
Okay, I'll talk.
Start tomorrow.
Yeah,
Get in there.
you took my job. No, that's one thing. There's a lot of, over the next few years, I'm sure there's a lot of things that will technically change in the modern retail store. That Amazon store with no cashiers.
Oh yeah.
I like
That's
that.
an interesting concept.
What if retail becomes like a vending machine where you just walk up and it's a tablet with everything the store has? Just press a button that brings it.
So consumers distributing. Does anyone know what that means? Sorry.
No.
Old. Okay.
Consumers
There used to be a store called Consumers Distributing. You walked in. They didn't
How
have-
old is this store?
I don't know. You walked. Look it up sometime. You walked in. They didn't have shelves of product. They just had little bays where you look at the catalog, and then you just flip through the catalog. This is the item I want. And you go to the guy. Basically, what you're saying, but without a tablet. And you go, "This is what I want." You're like, okay. And he goes and gets it and brings it to you. This was a thing.
That could be much more efficient with just online orders or something.
Sure.
It's just
It
pickup
was, it was
at that point. It's just
online. Yeah, like that wasn't. There's no online shopping then. So you went in and
Really?
looked through the book. And bought
Because that's interesting, but I think people will always want to touch things before they buy them.
no. I can do entirely without that pretty much. The only time I go somewhere to buy something is when I need it like now, not like tomorrow, like now.
Did you buy clothes online?
I don't buy clothes. Not really.
I guess that's fair.
Would I? Yes. I suppose I would, but I just don't buy enough clothes to bother.
I bought shirts, and I know they fit because of the last time that I bought them. So they said, same guess that they'll fit again. But
Yep.
stuff like that, I don't know. What if you wanted more than one thing? You just give the guy a list of things that you...
Be like
There's like a card you had to...
Yeah, like a Vietnamese restaurant. You just got like a number of quantity or whatever, and then write in details maybe. Like
What? Like, how is that market? I don't understand the point.
Well, they didn't have to... Well, there's less...
it didn't have to look presentable. It
I
could
guess
just
that's
be
true.
a
less
warehouse.
overhead to a degree.
Yeah.
There's a warehouse worker, I guess. and
You pay-
one
you-
front cat. Like, no one's walking in stealing shit because it's all behind.
It's true.
No
You-
loss.
You pay one front guy and one forklift driver, and you could run a warehouse pretty much.
Then it would have been... That's
It's bizarre, I know.
what it is. But you would have had to have paid for more than one person, because if two people came in and made a list, the one person can't just be going back.
Yeah.
That's neat and kind of a not technological version of yours. I have always thought, we've talked about it, that BDs will eventually end up being like that, where people just look through the catalog and then we run to the warehouse and get what they need.
It's faster.
So it's possible that we'd go back to the consumers. What was it?
Distributing. Distributing.
Consumers distributing. That's interesting. So if it was pre-internet, you're talking what, the 90s?
Oh, it's like an 80s thing. 70s. Well, yeah, 80s I remember for sure.
So I can see why that thing went not
Oh,
well. That is. I can't think of any store that has a weird buying experience like that nowadays. Most stores have it down pat. I guess maybe IKEA, where you just pick out codes and then you go
Yeah,
grab it at
that's
the
the
end.
closest.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, yeah.
That's good stuff. How did Sears catalogs work? Because I've seen a million of them, but I never ordered anything. Do you just...
I never bought anything.
Those are, they would send the catalog just in the mail.
Yeah.
But then there was always a ton of different Sears pickup points. Like
Okay.
It'd be like, say,
But like you go
it's
there
like a
and...
laundromat, but they also were a Sears pickup point. So you could place your order through the book.
So you
And
pay...
you go, oh, your pickup point is...
You pay by...
It's a laundromat?
Well, that just doesn't...
Do you pay by telephone or
Like
something?
a hardware store would also have a Sears pickup.
How do you pay? Do you pay by telephone and then...
Yeah, I guess that
Okay,
would
then
be
it goes-
You phone, like, so phone order, and then they tell you where you can go pick it up. So they would use their vast delivery network to just drop it off in random spots.
But Sears was a big chain. Why wouldn't they just say pick it up at...
Yeah, I guess for smaller
Sears.
towns that didn't have a Sears or didn't want to drive to the big city, you could just go to
your local
Ames
hardware.
and
I suppose that is the interesting idea of crossed functions of a store. And there's two examples. One that's I've heard of and I've been looking, and the other one I've just found today. Well, okay, hardware, home hardware. Apparently, some of those, especially in out west, like in western provinces, sell guns, which is cool, multifunctional, and you used to be able to buy like a hunting permit or whatever there.
Okay.
But more interestingly enough, have either of you ever been to the Service Ontario in Port Colborne?
No.
No.
It's also like a flower shop or something. You walk in at the same door, and the service. As soon as you walk in, the Service Ontario desk is on the right, and you can go left. It's just an open space. They're not just separated in any way. It's a flower shop. The Service Ontario is in a flower shop. What? And there's like 2 chairs for waiting, and there's 2 spots at a desk for people to serve people. There's no taking tickets. There's not enough room for people to come in like that, and it's never busy.
Probably because people think it's a fucking flower shop.
Yep, it says Service Ontario on the outside.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought it was weird when you go to a KFC and Taco Bell, but Service Ontario and a flower shop.
Yeah, it's a weird combination of things. Like, when did Shoppers Drug Mart pick up the postal Canada Post too?
Oh, yeah.
Because
A long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's this weird thing that people just take for granted. Like, you go, oh, there's a Shoppers. I bet it has a Canada Post. Yep,
That's
sure
a
enough.
good guess. Both the Shoppers and...
Although many don't. The one in near the Five Corners or whatever in Niagara Falls doesn't have a post office. So there's definitely incidences of where they're not together. Other things you commonly see, Wendy's and Tim Hortons go together. But in Welland, there's one spot where there's a Little Caesars and a Tim Hortons, and they're like the same building, and it's very jarring to see beside each other, but they're the same building.
Yeah, that's when I realized a lot of these restaurants or fast food, they're all, some of them are owned by bigger.
Yum Brands is a big one.
Okay. So it's like, yes, they could do all these weird food court style buildings where they have all their brands under one roof. It's strange.
Yeah. And I remember when they first started combining Harvey's and Swiss Chalet. It's like this weird division where it's the same building, and you could, like, if I go to the right, I can have a sit down kind of thing.
Yeah,
but if I go to the left, I can go have a fast food.
But you can also get Swiss Chalet at Harvey's.
Yes, you could. That's kind of the compromise, but a lot of the ones I've seen are just the two restaurants, actually, side
So
by
I'm
side.
saying even with the split,
Yes.
the Harvey's restaurants still advertise Swiss Chalet takeout.
Yep, it's true. Which, not known for their takeout.
Never tried to do drive-through at Swiss Chalet. That seems weird.
I've never tried to do drive-through either, but the one on 4th Ave always has a lot of people there. I don't understand how it
Is
works.
that just like if I call my order, I can pick it up there instead of at the...
I would think so, because you can't order a window, be like, I need 4 quarter chicken dinners. Okay, it'll be 15 minutes. I'll slowly drive up. That doesn't make sense.
Or it's been waiting for you, which is scary.
I guess food service is the thing. McDonald's has been big on their tech,
Yes, I love their order screens or whatever.
except in the UK it was found that most of them are covered in crap.
Really? Well, I don't care. I'll still use it.
No, like actual crap.
Fecal matter.
Use a glove.
Who's putting shit on?
I
Ordering
think that's
screens.
just the nature of a giant touch.
Yeah, no, like they swabbed it and there was E.
People are touching
coli.
stuff, unfortunately.
I'm over it. I don't care.
That's
All of the surfaces in the restaurant are probably coated in shit
If they were
anyway.
testing those, you get the same result.
Yes.
Yeah, tests always come back like, oh, there's so much mold in our pop dispensers. Like, well, that's
Slightly more alarming than the shit on the
yeah, like
screen.
pop dispensers in crappy fast food restaurants sometimes are moldy.
That sounds like a bigger health concern to me.
We had to
That's the
take
restaurant's fault.
big preventions when it came to our soda lines at A&W. We had to do a lot of cleaning to filter the lines and whatnot. The A&W soda machines, I guess most soda machines are interesting because when you get them, you actually have to calibrate them. So I'm in complete control. There's fast food restaurants out there that lower the ratio between the syrup and the carbonated water to save syrup. But you're supposed to, it's all done based on the color, unless it's Sprite, then I can't remember how it was done. But it's all done based on the color of the syrup. If it matches, then it's a perfect mix.
I used to work at a restaurant where I had to change the canisters or the bags of syrup.
I hated
boxes
that.
or whatever. Very weird.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, so exciting.
Just a cardboard bucket of syrup, cardboard container of syrup.
This is the Coke. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And it would be a plastic lid, and you'd open it up, and it would just smell exactly like you would think concentrated Coca-Cola would smell like. I remember the mustard came in bags that were similar to that. You would just hang the mustard on a wall in like a slot, and it'd have a nozzle that you would push, and it would open up, and one new person put the mustard on the wall and then unscrewed the cap to put the nozzle on.
Oh.
And he opened it, and it's a weird moment when 10 liters of mustard is just flowing onto the ground, and we both just stared at each other. I'm like, this is a mess that he's gonna have to clean up, and this is hilarious. And it was, we didn't stop it because we would have been covered in mustard, but 10 liters of mustard takes a long time to empty out.
Yep.
Just, it was very, it went everywhere.
I feel a little bit unknowledgeable then because I don't have all this experience with the behind the scenes of different businesses. 'Cause I've never worked in fast food
I don't recommend it.
or retail.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
That being said, I enjoy it. I have enjoyed it for the most part, but I don't recommend it as a forever type job. That being said, I like the fact that you make way more money than I do, but I would not like working out in the cold as much as you do. I say as I'm going into a job that may require me to work out in the cold.
It's not going to be that bad.
I don't know. I'm gonna sit in a van
Yeah.
looking at dogs.
It sounds like a way cooler job than mine.
I hope.
I'll say that much. I get the behind the scenes of building houses, which isn't necessarily just the things that I'm doing, framing houses. It's looking at the other trades and seeing the corners that they cut, and it's pretty bad sometimes.
So you've worked in restaurants,
Yes. And retail, basically.
but the restaurants at the golf course you were.
I was server, bartender.
Is that the majority of your restaurant life?
I was worked in like a kitchen before as a dishwasher. And
That was my first job.
Yeah.
I was the dishwasher at Kelsey's in Tilsonburg. And they hired me for 3 months and fired me. It kind of worked out that it was, hey, during the summer months, and it was just right around the time of my probation. So they got rid of me. And at that point, I'm like, they said I was too slow. That was their excuse. So maybe I was. But at that point, I was like, nope, not working restaurants anymore. Then my father forced me to go to the A&W. There was an A&W opening up in Tilsonburg, so there was a trade, like a
Job fair.
job fair. So he forced me to go, and I met the owners, and they're like, oh, you worked at Kelsey's. I did. Why didn't you? What happened there? I'm like, well, they said I was too slow. I thought, I'm never going to get hired. They hired me, and it was a really good job. They were great, and it was a good job. I think, as much as I wouldn't recommend it, if you're a young person, fast food or retail is really great. I'd recommend working at BD's over A&W. I'd recommend working at A&W over Walmart, I think. And BD's is a weird one where it's retail, but it's like...
Nobody's gonna have a local Beatties.
Except us in Fort Erie.
Yeah.
right.
It's kind of a hard one to go for if you're even living.
I recommend to all children, move to St. Catharines
Yes.
and work at BD's. But
Drive up our real estate.
yeah, I was in Font Hill today. I bought a camera today.
Does
Yes.
it have a camera?
No, I have went 5 years without ever actually owning a camera.
There's only 6 of them surrounding us right now.
And the place I went to, she gave me the address, and I Googled it. Like, I'm going to an IT place. Interesting.
Okay.
She's like, my husband and I own this business. This is the address.
What is the address?
I'm not gonna
Roughly.
give you
Don't dox them, but like what? Where in Font Hill? What street?
I can't remember where I was.
Darn it. There's basically one main strip in Font Hill, Highway 20, just runs through the center.
Yeah.
Was it far from that?
Pretty sure it was just Highway 20. It was up, you know where, I pronounced it wrong. Mosamos is up on the hill.
Nope.
Okay. Do you?
No.
Okay, so apparently there's a pizza place called Mosamos or Mosamos or
Okay.
something like that. And it's up on the hill, so it's past, it's up further on the main drag. And it was an IT place. So like, why? What's an IT place doing with a professional grade camera? So this lovely, lovely photographer had lucked out, and her husband owns the business, and she kind of just has this little corner that is a photography studio for her. Not even a studio, just a meeting place. So there's a table and chairs and a computer for editing and whatnot, and pictures on the wall and photo albums. But that's a shared business that I guess is neat, because you get the credibility of being, oh, meet me at this address, and they have a receptionist that works for the IT companies.
That can do this
If
stuff.
you walked in and said, I'm here to see so-and-so, they're like, just one moment. They page her. So you seem like a big
It's a
wig.
pretty good setup, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try and find a place that'll do that for us.
What makes this most sense as like a business that would coincide with a photography studio? Because IT is like the clean kind of environment that would
Service
match it.
Ontario.
Service Ontario.
There you go. Well, they already have their own camera and flash set up, so
That's right.
I wonder if Henry's would sublet.
no. Henry's, I don't like their new store.
I don't imagine you go to camera stores.
The only thing I want to do when I go to a Henry's is be hands-on with things. And they stuck everything in a glass case.
Oh.
And I don't want to walk up to the cashier and say, hey, can I go touch that camera that's way over there on the other side of the store? Because it used to be just like a front desk and the one on Scott Street, and everything's behind the desk. And you can say, point to something on the shelf, and be like, can
So
I
there are
use it?
thousands of dollars of equipment behind the shelf, and I've talked to the people.
They were robbed, probably.
Oh, they have been robbed
Right.
so many times. People
But I
will
don't
walk
care.
in.
That's not my problem.
I'd like to try this camera. Okay. And they just bolt. They have a
Yeah.
getaway driver because they're holding a camera with a lens that's worth like $6,000, and they're just like,
Yep.
When I worked at a Future Shop, to bring it back, they had that whole island like of cameras, and they were tethered to the thing. But you
I think
could pick them up.
tethering's the way to go.
Yeah, you could pick them
not
up
bad,
and
right?
you could use them. They were all functional like that. And, they didn't put like the removable bat. They had like power supply that was built to the security posts.
Yep.
So they were all powered up. You could try them all. The lenses, they had some because they had their own separate security on them, so you could use like real lenses on them and things. So yeah, that was a good hands-on.
So by nature working there, did you learn about camera stuff? Because you're a techie guy.
That was one that just never clicked with me. Like sometimes when I worked there, you get thrown in different departments, and they're like, "Oh, we need someone to cover over there." I'm fine. Just talking out of my ass. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah.
what I assume when I talk to those people who worked at Future Shop and currently Best Buy.
Yeah, well, that's true. Some people know what they're talking about, but yeah,
Very
I
few.
definitely did not.
Very
So,
few.
yeah, no, I never quite got a handle on all the terminology of cameras.
So would you just try to sell them on megapixels?
This is on sale.
What was your specialty at Future Shop?
I worked, I worked all over. I worked in the warehouse when I first started, and then home theater. Like two
Home
years.
theater, okay.
I know I can, now I'm around.
You could pick out a good receiver.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At least from 10 years ago.
Not much has changed.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, so those were my main parts. And then I worked in their video game / movie department when that was still a thing.
Fair enough.
Which seems like something you're qualified to do.
Yeah, I technically demoted myself into a role of I want to be in charge of all the movies. And they're like, you want that job?
Sounds like
yes,
a
please.
badass job, though. It'd be depressing now. I go into Walmart and their movie collection. Nobody knows. You can't talk to anybody.
It's a disgrace. And Best Buy, they used to, like I used to go to Best Buy. It was
They had good
when you used to walk in,
collections.
you'd walk in and that's where the movies were.
Yeah.
Like they had a huge selection. And now they've scaled back to the back corner, there's this shelf with
But if you wanted to buy a fridge, go to Best Buy.
absolutely, I guess.
Or a stove.
Well, that used to be Future Shop's differentiators. They had the appliances, Best Buy did not.
Best Buy had musical instruments.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we briefly had like keyboards and guitars and.
I bet you were good at selling musical
No,
instruments.
for a while we had a DJ turntable set, like a digital one. So you didn't actually put vinyl on it, but they had like this, so we played with that nonstop. We're all terrible, but like then people would come in and buy like $1,500 DJ equipment. Like, okay, like I don't know what it is, but do you want it? And they're like, yes, please. So
Must have been good then.
Must have been good.
Or they must have thought it was good.
it looked impressive.
I think maybe that's enough. I wonder, because we're in a creative field, and I always feel whenever I talk to you, you have a creative drive. And I describe you to some people like you described yourself, where if you were given, maybe it was Ashley described you, I don't know. Somebody described you in the sense that if you were given a blank sheet of paper and a pencil and a week, the paper would
I think that was
remain
me.
blank.
Yeah, go on.
But if you're given a script like a Christmas movie and you're told to critique it, you'll critique
Or
it.
not told to. I just do it anyway.
And I think that's a different type of creativity, but you definitely have a creative drive that I think is underutilized.
Thank you.
He's one of the creative critics behind the Christmas movie that I'm working on.
Fair enough.
Yeah. He's the one that
Is that a
decided.
title yet?
We gotta sit back down and hash that one out.
Yes, we will. I have to because it's Christmas time. It's the best time to do it, and I've barely touched it.
Go to a cafe in Niagara-on-the-Lake and just talk about it.
Like the one that was in the Christmas movie. in
Sure,
Niagara on
we
the
can
Lake?
sit in the same seats.
Sure, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It sounds great. Sarcastically, I've never.
I've never had a bad experience in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
No, the cafe is fine, but I can't. As somebody who likes writing, I don't know. I hate the idea of going into a cafe and
You ever
writing.
been to Starbucks and whipped out your laptop?
No, never.
I love working in
Yeah,
cafes. and that.
for some reason, I inherently dislike those people when I walk in. I'm there to buy a coffee. I'm like, how long have you been here? Like, with on your damn computer?
Free internet. It's fantastic.
You can get free internet anywhere now.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. You see people on their laptop at McDonald's, and you're still like, how long you been here?
Well, that's true.
As a student, I would stay there for hours.
That's true. So if you're at a McDonald's by Brock, then yes, that makes sense.
They had better Wi-Fi than Brock University, so why wouldn't I be there?
That's fair.
And
No,
they serve me food.
I definitely can't go to a Starbucks or anything and whip out a laptop or an iPad or just a pen and pencil. Or, sorry, pencil and paper.
Or whatever you're trying to do.
Just writing on the table with a pen and pencil. There's something about the stereotype. There's something about the starving artist. I feel like it's even worse in LA, where people are actually really trying to do it.
I know several quite large authors that just do no, they
But do you
still
think they
do
go to
it.
Starbucks, or do you think they go to a nice
They'd probably have their favorites.
cafe?
Yeah, it's a good
I
chance.
just don't think that would help me get anything done.
If I went to Starbucks, I'd have to put in headphones because I don't want to listen to.
I would do that anyways, regardless of where I
I
am.
can write here without headphones quietly.
Good.
But if I go to Starbucks and I'm not wearing headphones, my problem is I listen to conversations because I guess I'm an eavesdropper. But sometimes you find the best stories from conversations. So
Yep.
maybe in that respect, it's inspirational because you could find out interesting things, but I would also think it's annoying, and I don't know how many conversations in a Starbucks would inspire a movie about Santa Claus who was at one point going to school but now not going to school.
That
It's not a good title.
no.
I'll work on that.
That's the title.
On that work in progress, I think it's getting closer to the end of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. This was fun. You're an interesting person. I know you didn't chime in a ton, but it's always interesting to talk to you about.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
We're not like Norm Macdonald. We don't sing at the end of the show.
No, it's usually just when I feel really tired, which is pretty early because I get up early.
If you want to watch a good Netflix show, Norm Macdonald Has a Show is really funny.
What's it called?
Norm Macdonald Has a Show.
Okay. I'll remember that.
See, you're laughing already.
He has a bunch of guests. He did an interview with M. Night Shyamalan, which is very
That
interesting.
sounds like it would be good.
It was very good. He did an interview with Chevy Chase. Also very
Also would be good.
good. Who else?
Chevy Chase, he just looks super old now.
You know what? He does, but he's not given enough limelight because the interview with him on the show, like, he's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just naturally,
Funny
he's
guy.
funny. And when he's not being called, when he's not in a negative light, he's an old guy who has a lot of stories. And I'm sure it's. Do you think when you're somebody like that around this time of year, when Christmas Vacation is playing all the time, are you proud or are you depressed?
That's
'Cause
probably one of my favorite Christmas movies.
it's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I just watched it.
Why would he be depressed?
Well, because I don't want to say he's fallen from grace, but he's not the man he once was.
No.
And even in his old age, if he had made better decisions, he potentially still could be a very good comedic star. He did very well on Community until, stuff went wrong.
I actually don't know anything about this.
No, he's just an asshole, I heard.
He was an asshole on set.
So?
They fired him, or he quit.
I don't remember.
A little bit of both. he got called names, and they made fun of him. They did a rap party where the producers of the show basically thanked everyone and then shit on Chase. So then that night on his way home, he called the producer, kind of a rampage type mode, and said some things he probably shouldn't have, and kind of Charlie Sheen'd the whole thing.
Nice.
So, he had a very sad cameo in the latest Vacation movie, which was a crap movie overall.
Which one? Oh, I didn't think
Vacation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
And it just wasn't good, because I don't know if he was just really fat that year, but he looked horrible and sad and depressing. So on that note,
Probably got a paycheck anyway.
well, yeah, he probably got a good paycheck. He's probably one of the producers too, I'd feel. But on that note of sad, fat Chevy Chase, thank you very much. This was fun. Join us next week when we do something else. We're opening presents.
Look forward to whatever's in those boxes that you can't see because they're all off camera.
There's one for you.
Well, nobody. I guess we can't get other people here to open presents. We should just get a bunch of people together, just have a present opening podcast.
This is, I don't know, this is interesting. Tell me if this is weird.
Okay.
The nice thing, and then we'll go, but the nice thing about this is it gets released 2 weeks later, so that we're talking about stuff like Christmas. Well, now it's already like after Christmas, so it doesn't matter.
Whoa, time machine.
I know. Monica makes really weird jokes sometimes.
Okay.
And one of the jokes she always jokes about is how, I don't know, how I should pay for her to get breast implants.
Why?
She said that, but I don't understand why you had to pay.
That's what I don't understand either. She just one day was like, you should pay for them.
Maybe
I'm
she
like,
just really wants them.
I guess so.
Maybe she says that to everybody.
Maybe.
Maybe somebody.
But I said to her, that serves me no purpose whatsoever. She's like, well, you touch them once. Like, that's still not worth the $10,000 price tag.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a gift exchange, but I'm not involving that in the gift exchange. But on Amazon, I bought her
Oh, she'll like the.
silicone thingies.
With some kind of Chinese writing on the back
Yes.
and front.
So from what I understand, I think they're supposed to go in a bra.
I would imagine. I
Yes.
can't imagine where else I'd put
I
those.
guess that makes sense. So I'm gonna wrap it up and hope to give it to her when there are other people around so she can turn red. And it was a hell of a lot cheaper than $10,000.
Goodbye. Have a good night, everybody.
That's weird.